I used to be a super lazy Japanese guy. I'd start studying English and give up in just 3 days. I made goals with full energy, but I never stuck with them. But in my 20s, I had a turning point. Through studying Japanese culture deeply, I discovered something powerful. Discipline isn't something you are born with. It's something you can create with small actions. In this video, I'll share 6 real techniques that helped transform me from lazy samurai to an actionable samurai. If you want to build life-changing habits, start a business, or take control of your time and energy, this video is for you. Right? Let's get started. The first method, Icho-jime action technique. Sometimes you know you should start working, but you keep scrolling on social media, or decide I'll work out today, but you couldn't move away from the TV. We've all been there, right? That's when I use Icho-jime. What is Icho-jime, Aki? In Japan, there's a custom where people clap their hands to wrap things up at a party or meeting. It's like this. The leader says, "Okay, shall we call it a day? Get ready your hands. Yo!" Then everyone claps together. Okay, arigatou gozaimashita. Okay, let's practice. I'll say yo, and then you clap your hands. Ready? Yo! Right, good job. Nice rhythm, that works perfect. The point is this one clap resets everything. Even if things were super fun or boring, it means it's over. It's like an instant mental switch. So I made it part of my daily routine. And it works crazy well. For example, when I catch myself procrastinating, I do this. Close my eyes and say, yo. And instantly it snaps me out of it. And I get to work. I think it's kind of like 3, 2, 1, go method. Have you heard of it? But for me, this works even better because the rhythm and sound cut through everything. Hesitation, overthinking, or urge to scroll on your phone. All of it. The key is clap, then move. No delay. Just clap and shift your focus. Second, create your own rituals. This method is quiet but powerful. The biggest mistake I used to make all the time was relying on too much willpower. For example, I'd decide, okay, I run every morning. But 3 days later, I'd say, I'm so sleepy, I'm tired, or I can't find my shoes, so maybe tomorrow. All those excuses would pop up my head and I'd give up. Of course, I kept trying to force it with willpower, but it didn't work. But something changed when I discovered the tea ceremony. You don't need willpower when you have rituals. Like for example, no one makes matcha with willpower, shouting like, "Alright, let's make matcha!" No, right? You just simply follow a series of calm and intentional steps. By just following that steps, in the end, you have this beautiful matcha. That's the outcome. That's when I had a thought, what if I created a small, mindful ritual for every habit I wanted to build? So I did. For example, when I wanted to make running a habit, I'd lay out my shoes, clothes, and water bottle the night before. Then in the morning, I just follow a flow. I get dressed, put on my socks, bring the bottle, and finally, I put on my shoes. And before I knew it, I was already standing outside. All I have to do is just start running. The key is to break it down into small steps and design the flow. That way, all I think about is the just one step in front of me, then next and next. Don't need to think about everything, just think about one step. It lowers the barrier to action and you stop making excuses. Third, start with just 5 minutes. One mistake I kept making was trying to change everything overnight. Like deciding to study English for 2 hours a day or reading one full book a day, even though I wasn't a big reader. But discipline doesn't come from this kind of dramatic changes. It grows from small actions done day by day. In Japan, there's a tradition of folding 1,000 paper cranes. Folding all 1,000 at once? That's not discipline. That's just forcing your willpower. Discipline is folding one crane, then another. Step by step, it grows, and one day you realize you've reached 1,000. So here's what matters most. Start small. And my favorite rule, whatever you do, start with just 5 minutes. Let's say if you want to build a cleaning habit, don't aim for 30 minutes right away. Just 5 minutes. That's enough. Want to start studying Japanese? Not an hour, just 5 minutes. There are two benefits. First, you feel almost no resistance. 30 minutes of cleaning sounds like a chore, but only 5 minutes? That's totally doable, right? That's why it's easier to turn into a habit. Second, it becomes a foundation for bigger habits. Here's the magic. Once 5 minutes becomes a habit, you can naturally stretch it 10, 20, or 30 minutes. It's just like folding paper cranes. For example, at first, you decide to fold one a day and just keep going. But over time, you realize, I can do 2, 3, 10. That's exactly how I built my morning cleaning habit, my workout habit, and even my English study habit. It all started with just 5 minutes. Now I can go for 10 or 30 without stress. They're no longer effort, they're part of my life. Fourth, play the Juzu game. This is a fun and a powerful method I made when I started cold showers. Each time you do the habit, mark a circle on your paper calendar. Simple, but here's the magic. After a few days, those little circles start to line up and they look like a juzu, Japanese style mala. The great point is, once the bead starts forming, you don't want to break it. And you start thinking, let's keep it going. Let's add just one more bead today. I used to think of it as a chain, but now I see it as a mala. Why? Because a Japanese mala is completed with 108 beads. And aiming for that number gives me a motivation. More than anything, I feel like I don't want to break it. This idea is also in Atomic Habits, called Don't Break the Chain. It says the key is that it's visible. Because your brain loves visible rewards. So even if I'm feeling down, feeling low, look at the calendar and think, okay, let's keep it up one more day today. And when you actually do it, it feels so good. It's a single circle, single bead, but over time, they turn into something powerful. The next technique is use the power of cleaning. This is a core habit of Japanese culture, and it's one that truly helped me take action and stay focused. And what I do is really simple. Before you're working on something, clean your room, clean your desk, shelves, your desktop. Because the more cluttered your space is, the more likely you are to procrastinate. In fact, one study found that messy environment really linked to indecisiveness, lower work performance, and emotional hesitation. For example, if your desk is covered with books, magazines, or manga, even if you want to work, there's a good chance you'll just start reading instead, right? And you can't get your work done. Yeah, that happened a lot to me. It doesn't have to be a book. Even small things might bother you. I think they are constantly saying like, hey, watch me, touch me. And that's why it's easy to get distracted. So cleaning, tidying up your space is really matters. In fact, many Japanese companies begin the workday with cleaning. So now my room is, almost always clean. So whatever I want to take action, I can start it right away and give it 100% of my focus. So clean your room and say goodbye to your procrastination. Sixth, the last one is embrace the fear. Like I said, I used to be a really lazy person. I didn't take action. For example, I had wanted to start a YouTube channel since 2014 actually. But I couldn't start. I just felt scared. Scared of what people might think, scared of failing. So I just kept running from that fear. for over 5 years. But when I came across a powerful idea from a book about samurai, something started to shift. It said samurai used to visualize death in vivid detail to overcome their fear of it. Like they imagined being shot, cut down by a sword, even committing seppuku. At first, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are they crazy? But it said that when you picture your death clearly, your fear starts to fade out. And in the real world, they stay calm. And when it was time to fight, they acted without hesitation. When I learned it, it blew my mind because I had always run from fear. But the samurai, they choose to feel it on purpose, totally opposite. In the 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss shares a similar idea. He says that writing down your fears is one of the best ways to reduce anxiety. And that's what makes them able to act. So after learning this, I slowly started to change. I tried imagining good things, but also bad things too, as much as possible. Nobody is watching my videos? Check. Losing all my income? Check. Ending up homeless, wearing fundoshi? Check. And you know what? The fear actually started to shrink. Because if I imagined clearly wearing fundoshi, being a homeless, it's not really a bad thing. It's actually, fun. So little by little, I began to move forward. Then now I have 500k fines here. So if you're feeling scared of something right now, don't run away. Face it, embrace it. Then there's a beautiful future waiting for you. So these were the 6 techniques that helped me become actionable samurai. You don't need to be perfect, because I'm not perfect either. Just a little more consistent, a little braver than your past self. If you want to explore more Japanese mindset around discipline, please check out this video. Alright, I hope to see you in the next video.